Hey guys, welcome back to Drip Feed. We're here with a really special panel session today where we're actually going to be discussing which social media platforms you should be choosing as a business and what the value in those platforms is. So our panel here today consists of a few of our team members from BlackDrop. So we've got Sol, who's our creative director.
Hello guys.
The beautiful Nazreen, who is our social media marketing manager. And Sav, who does a lot with our project management work. So the format for today is I'm just going to throw a few questions that I get asked regularly from different people that I interact with, and I'd love to kind of know your input and kind of get to know what you think of these things. So first question, I think there's a lot of different social media platforms out there. As a business, we obviously want to use the platform, get people to know us and interact with us and get people to know our products as well. What do you think the main platforms out there are that people, especially in this country, are using today?
Well, I think there's, I would say 6 main platforms. Facebook for sure, probably the one that has more users at the moment compared to the other ones. Then we have Instagram. YouTube.
Yeah, Pinterest.
LinkedIn.
And then of course audio, which is a new channel that that kind of covers all of the podcasts. Yeah.
So obviously there's a good deal of platforms out there. We've covered really what we think are the top 6. If we look at Facebook and Instagram as the primary platforms that most people are aware of, talk to me a little bit about what people are posting there at the moment. What is the kind of content that works on those platforms?
Well, people definitely go to Facebook and Instagram for entertainment. And I think the top ones for Facebook is definitely videos and images. Instagram is definitely more concentrated on high quality images.
They're like memes and things like that. Yeah. That like it's a pastime in itself.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You kind of go on Facebook to kill time, and it's thoroughly enjoyable because there's so much entertaining. And I think the thing about Facebook is, like Sol said, most people use Facebook at the moment, which means there's a host of different tastes that are coming to Facebook, and there's so many businesses that are kind of, not even businesses, but just people that are supplying content for every kind of taste. If you're into cat videos, or if you like travel, or if you want motivational speeches, or any, like, Facebook is essentially a hub for anyone's tastes. It's a new search engine almost in itself.
Because a lot of people just use Facebook to check out what's happening with their friends and family, right? And I think what's really interesting is Facebook's released this new algorithm recently, which has almost restricted a lot of the business content that actually gets exposed to people. How do you get around that on Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of people say that organic content is dying on Facebook lately, but I don't think it's not necessarily true, because you can put a lot of budget behind on your campaign and everything else, but at the point that you reach your followers, your customers, you have to keep that conversation going on, right? So the organic side of things has to be flowy and going smooth as well. Otherwise, you're not going to keep your followers in.
I think that organic side of things too also helps with showing that you're a real person. There are real people behind the business, and it's not just paid post. It's going, here's free value, and here's us actually wanting to have a meaningful connection with you. And that's where that organic stuff comes in handy, because if you're just seeing ads all the time and nothing else, it's going, oh, well,
that's not really engaging it.
Yeah, they're just trying to sell me something.
Exactly.
And I'm no longer entertained.
Yeah, but I think now businesses are definitely focusing more on community groups and building discussion around all that to engage organic.
Facebook groups is a real focus for them at the moment.
Yeah, and that's how people are trying to beat the algorithm, because now it's all focused on posts from family and friends. It's hard to be on people's news feeds.
So actually, that's a really good segue into something I want to ask, because people really struggle with this. How do you actually build a Facebook following? Because that's really difficult now because of the algorithms and everything. How do you get people to follow you, to like you?
Awesome content.
For sure.
Basic.
Segue into the blog post.
Yeah.
That Nazareth.
That's pretty standard A. If you don't have great content, engaging content that stand out from the rest, you're not gonna be seen pretty much.
Yeah.
I think you need
My voice,
first,
sorry.
quality content, and then you are going to need to invest a little bit into Facebook advertising to get awareness at first, I think.
Because I've seen so many people make the mistake and go and hire a social media marketing agency that literally just posts or reshares something that they've found from somewhere else. So these businesses scratch their head and go, why aren't I getting engagement? Why aren't I getting the following? And engagement, that's like the metric. That's the measurement of success on social media. So you think it is about the quality of content?
Definitely
Pretty
that's
much.
number one.
We see this happening a lot lately. A lot of digital marketing agencies, they are doing campaigns for clients, putting big budgets behind the campaigns. But when you see the content itself, it's kind of crap. So the results, to me especially, I believe that comes from the quality of the content you're posting pretty much. The budget helps, but it's not the main thing for sure.
And there's, I think, a difference between selling something and wanting to build a community, because you can sell something to someone once, but they need to feel that connection. They need to like you and trust you and want to buy into your story and become almost, it becomes a partnership. When you're purchasing a product or a service, it's a mutual agreement in that you're trying to target the right people and you want the right people to come to you. And so in those like organic posts and having that awesome content and an authentic message behind what you're trying to get out there is really important, because people might buy your product but they won't like your page, or they won't follow you on Instagram, or they won't want to connect with you on LinkedIn or subscribe on YouTube, because they might not necessarily have a reason to like you. They've just gone, oh, okay, well, it's a great one-off.
They don't see the
Well,
value
we've
behind it.
got a
it's
really
value.
interesting case study of this, don't we, with one of our own clients, Summer Homes, and
True.
what's happened on their campaign. You know, tell me a little bit about what we've done there.
Well, with Summer Homes was really interesting because we start building their social media presence, and this whole process was based on how we deliver quality content to the client. And I think the campaign ended up being successful because we were really authentic and really genuine towards our clients through social media. So first thing we did, we just presented the company through Tony, which is the owner of the company, and he's pretty much such a character that we thought this guy should be the first, the main guy of the campaign to start with. And we came up with a series of videos for them, and was just successful, in my opinion, because of how original and genuine it was. It was content that was talking to the right people with the right approach, pretty much.
And what's been the outcome there? Like,
well, we jumped from 0 to thousands of followers on Facebook. Instagram we're building this platform now, and it's been really good to see the organic growth we're getting from there as well. And mostly, I think the leads we generate, I think in a matter of 3-4 months, we generated more than 200 leads for them, and we are selling pretty much house projects, which are not a simple thing to sell, right? We're talking about like more than $500,000 project.
Yeah, big budget.
And generating interest in this niche, in this industry, through Facebook and Instagram is just amazing. It was just really revealing to me and to all the agency to see that amount of leads coming up out of this campaign.
The property market, eh?
yeah. So something that's really interesting. I'm fielding this question a lot by different people. That's, historically over the last 10 years in digital marketing, Google has been the go-to platform. So if you want to advertise something, or you want to get someone to see your product or service, you go to Google AdWords and you put a Google AdWords campaign, and that's got more and more expensive as more people have cottoned onto it. So how does social media in terms of the paid advertising options compare to, say, what I could get on Google now?
Well, one, you can do it for free, and two, the cost of the property to attract attention on social media is far cheaper because it's super untouched at the moment, right? Like
So
everyone
what
is going to go, and Google's not even in our top 6 of channels that you should be advertising on. It doesn't register anymore because it's overdone, and so it's like Auckland property prices have gone up because everyone wants to live here. Everyone decided they wanted to live on Google, so property prices went up. No one's really making the most of advertising on social media, so the cost is a lot lower. And I think
So why do you think social media is so powerful now? What's really been that big shift?
I mean, that's where people are these days. People are spending hours of their time on social media, so that's probably the best way to reach people's audiences.
Yeah, it's where people are hanging out.
Yeah.
And it's not even just on Facebook or Instagram. You no longer pick up a newspaper or phone a friend or take that extra bit of time, because we're all about convenience, right? So it's got to be there, and we need to know we need it before we've even thought about it. Like, we just need those opportunities presented to us. And if I have an issue, I'm not going to call my mom or my dad. I'm just going to go on YouTube and figure out how to fix it for myself. And,
That's true.
And and that's where these things come up. I mean, there's countries I wouldn't have considered traveling to unless I'd seen them on Instagram. But tourism, the tourism industry in certain countries have now put a lot of effort into marketing the nation. And I'm going, I want to go to Sri Lanka.
And that's really interesting. YouTube, a lot of people don't consider YouTube as a social media platform, but it very much is.
Totally is.
And in fact, actually, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. But talk to me about, some of those other channels we talked about, particularly YouTube and Pinterest, in terms of other visual channels.
These two are really, really interesting. Myself, I believe YouTube is, to me, the main entertaining platform. But the interesting thing about YouTube nowadays, people is using as a search engine as they use Google. Especially if you think of the how-to kind of search lately. Myself, I do a lot of how-to kind of search on YouTube. If I want to learn a new trick on skateboard or learn how to improve my surfing skills, I go to YouTube and just type how to, ride a barrel or how to do a kickflip, for example. And that's the millennials' behavior lately. They jump on YouTube and try to search things about anything and try to learn from YouTube, and then you're gonna have a video there explaining you how to do things. So that's, to me, the main characteristic of YouTube nowadays. We have a bunch of content creators as well doing amazing stuff on YouTube. So I don't jump on TV anymore to entertain myself. I jump on YouTube and watch.
No ads too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or, very small ads. It's not every 5 minutes you're getting broken up. And
That's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
And
yeah.
Pinterest is another visual oriented platform that's come up a long way recently.
Yes, I think it's kind of very educational as well. Pinterest has this aspect of giving you nice infographics or inspiration to, for example, in the fashion industry, you can find nice outfits on how to dress in different occasions and stuff like that. If you think of the cooking industry and food industry, it's a really good platform as well, where you can get recipes out of it. Myself, I created a board for vegetarian, vegan recipes where I just pin everything over there, and it's amazing and super easy and super visual, which I like it.
It's like you
So-
can create your own encyclopedia based on your interests.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Pinterest, to me, it's there's two main factors that I consider. It's a source of inspiration and a source of information as well. That's how I use Pinterest, and I think that's the general behavior of people that uses Pinterest as well.
Because I read something fascinating that a lot of people won't realize, and that's that 90% of the pins on Pinterest are businesses that are selling product. And
Oh,
that
interesting, yeah.
that was staggering. And as I read that piece of content, it kind of went on to say that actually, out of all the platforms, that's the one that has the highest degree of actually influencing purchase decision, which is fascinating. You don't actually think of that, but
Yeah.
when you go through that momentum and you look at it, you're in the mindset. You're sitting there on the platform researching things that you might be interested in. So you're most in a mode, in a headspace where your opinion can be changed because you're open to having that input placed in you.
From a business perspective, it is insanely perfect in terms of marketing because you're getting people to share your business for free and they might not even know about it, but it's not tricking or deceiving them because you've provided the value that they came to Pinterest for. They've seen the pretty image, they've read the information, and they share it on. It's perfect because they're getting what they want to share with other people who might have the same interests.
And unlike other platforms, that the content dies. Like you post something on Facebook and 24 hours later, that post doesn't really show or register anymore.
True.
Pinterest just lives on.
Yeah,
which
you've
is
got your
fascinating.
board, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah. Audio is something that people are talking about. I was speaking at an event the other week, and just out of testing, I did a show of hands, and I asked how many people listen to podcasts, and probably 95% of the room put their hands up. And I asked the same question: how many people listen to podcasts a year, 2 years ago? And 1 or 2. This is a channel that everybody is kind of on at the moment. Spotify and Apple Podcasts and these different channels. Why has podcasts registered in such a big way at the moment?
I think one of the main things that you think of when you're listening to the podcast is something that you can do on the go. So if you're driving, if you're cooking, if you're doing something else, you can still listen to a podcast.
You can multitask.
You can multitask, and nowadays people getting busier and busier. That's amazing. Like it's an option that you can consume, a product that you can consume and do something else at the same time. Yeah.
It's a sign of working with the times because at the end of the day we can moan and gripe about the fact that we're a convenience generation now. And I don't mean generation just as people our age, but everyone now has, it's a world of convenience. That's why we invented plastic and 24/7 shops and things that we can do at any time on our terms. And the audio flood, if you will, that's coming, or is even, we're all knee deep now in audio, in the audio world. And I think that is a big sign that the convenience is our number one priority. We're on the go. There's no shutting that down. We're never going to go backwards. And audio allows us to work with it. So you can consume information and be inspired and educated and, catch up with your favorite radio shows and your podcasts while you're doing other things because it doesn't slow you down. And you're always going to be taking value from it because I think what I really like about podcasts in particular at the moment is that you could listen to a 10-minute podcast or a 40-minute podcast, but it is pretty much pure value, right? There's no sort of, I guess, you know what you're getting when you jump on there. You can subscribe to a podcaster or a channel, and you know what you're going to get. And you don't have to kind of wade your way through anything else. And it goes in these. That's why YouTube took off, is because, again, you're on the go and you can listen to something and watch it now. You just don't have the visual, but you can still listen to it. Because I, for one, will cook off YouTube, follow a recipe off YouTube rather than a recipe book. Because a recipe book won't talk to me and tell me what I need to do while I'm trying to measure things, right? So then you go to YouTube and you're like, sweet flour in and sugar in and salt in, and you can put it in your ears now, and you don't even have to watch to see if you're doing it right because it's just, it's purely convenience.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends who travel on the bus every morning and they don't listen to music anymore. It's all just podcasts because it gives you that value. You're learning something on the go.
And I think we're smarter for it. You see a lot of people go, we're getting dumber and we're getting dumber because of AI and all of these, mobile extensions of ourselves. but really we're becoming smarter
On the
because
other
we're more
hand, yeah.
efficient,
Yeah.
right? Like we're
Yeah.
learning more in the time that we have.
Yeah, I think podcasts are a massive educational tool, and they kind of play the role that radio used to play, like back in the day, but with the factor that you actually can choose what you want to listen to. So that's the main thing to me about podcasts.
Because our time and attention has changed. You know, we're not watching TV anymore. We're not going out and buying newspapers and reading magazines. And we're not even listening to the radio for a big part now. We're opting in to kind of choose where to put our attention and where to put our time. And I think this is why social media is so relevant. It's because that's where people's time and attention is.
And
today.
where is it? We all have a phone. We spend more time on our phone than our laptops or our iPads. And on our phone, I personally, I have an app for podcasts. I have the LinkedIn app. I have the Pinterest app. I have the Facebook app, the Instagram app, and the YouTube app. I can access it right then and there and connect with anything I want. I think from a business perspective, you just need to make sure you're giving the people what they want.
Cool. Well, we're going to wrap up, but hey, it's been a pleasure having you guys as part of our panel. I'm sure you guys have got something out of it as well. So if you don't know, we run a blog. We share a lot of really interesting content in our blog. That's blackdrop.co. Go visit our website and check it out. And you'll also be able to check out the full video up on YouTube and on the blog article as well. So yeah, we'll see you next time.
Ciao!
Guys.